Live from Radio Row at Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. This is Roy Kessel for Sports Philanthropy Network, and we're very excited to have with us special guest today, Dr. Robert Baric. Dr. Baric, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Roy.
We're excited to be here with you. We know you're doing so much important work in the concussion space, and it's one of the big issues facing football throughout the last decade and beyond. And so I want to welcome you. Thank you for taking time out of your hectic schedule here and have you share a little bit more about what you're doing.
Sure, Roy. So as we all know, concussions can take players off the field, but the retired people, when they get a concussion, concussions are cumulative. And Roy, I have really looked at the acute side of it. So many years we've been waiting and just stay in the dark, go in the little tent, we're pulling you from practice. But in the brain, three things fail: the energy system, the detoxification system, and we get inflammation. I worked 6 years at MyConcussionDR to create a consumable, all-natural product that you can take as quickly as possible after you get that.
So when you talk about a consumable product, talk a little bit about what that means. There's so many potions, lotions, vitamins, powders, all kinds of things that go on. What makes your distinct?
Okay, so there, as I said, there's three systems that fail. We have to address the energy systems first. And we use beta hydroxybutyrate by Go BHB. And then the other products are going to be like N-acetylcysteine for detoxification, fish oils, vitamin D. These have all been proven in science that to help the brain metabolically recover faster. And the great part about it is these are all natural items that you don't have conflicts with. The art is how much and how frequently do you take. And that's taken many years of research. We feel very comfortable with our ratios that the quicker you take it, because cellular death starts to occur after about 30 minutes. But those ratios for the first 14 days helps the brain in that quicker recovery. So these players can recognize their grandkids later in life.
Well, it's one of the things that we see, right? You talk about that cumulative effect, and there's no easy way to measure or quantify what that cumulative effect is, right? With today's technology, there's no systematic way to say, okay, we can guess how many concussions you've had, but in terms of measuring the actual force and the number of impacts, that's very hard to quantify.
Correct. And then again, at the Brain Bank, the amazing research they're doing with Chris, they are looking at the end. But why don't we start putting the fire out? So we look at this as a fire extinguisher for the brain. You do not need to have a concussion to take this. Any type of an assault to the head. That could be a bump in your garage. That could be, we have players that are taking it before games, before hard practices, contact practices. But yes, TBI, traumatic brain injury, I believe demands for a traumatic body injury. All of these systems fail. Is it your heart? Is it your microbiome? Is it your joints? Is it your pituitary gland, your testosterone? And then really, I'm trying to introduce a new acronym, TFI. It's a traumatic family injury. It's the spouse, it's the kids, it's the parents. All of those are affected when somebody gets a head injury.
I think that's something that's really misunderstood and underappreciated is that overall impact, not only on the entire body, right, compared to just the head, but as you said, the entire family structure and system. If you're not able to function properly as a human being, that impacts everybody in your sphere.
It's giant. And again, it's only like 18% of all concussions come from sport. It's you and I in our garage. It's a person that's older that falls and no longer are independent. In Finland in 2025, if a kid gets a mild head injury, they have a 15% less likelihood of going to college. So it affects your entire future earnings.
And we've seen the data. The research is very clear. If you look at the incarceration rate, if you look at the homeless rate for individuals that have suffered, a mild TBI, a concussion, essentially, it's astronomical in terms of the correlation between incarceration and homelessness and with head injuries.
Absolutely. And that's why I said I made Concussion 911 specifically for that. This is a powder. It's temperature stable. It is the fire extinguisher for your brain. It's the fire extinguisher that you need in your house. You need it in the back of the car. My kid plays sports. I'm an athlete. I'm a hiker, whatever. I'm a geriatric. I'm an older person. You've got to protect the brain as quickly as possible. Why? So they can live to their full potential.
So how can we as Sports Philanthropy Network and all of our audience assist this area? Concussions are so important, as you said, just a small percentage of them occur in organized sports. So how do we help everybody?
Great question. And here's, it's an awareness. If I ask 100 people, what do you do when you get a concussion? They say, go hide in the dark, right? That's it. That's 1950s technology. Let it go. You don't do that with a heart attack. You don't do that with a broken ankle. You don't go in the dark for 48 hours. Question it. And I do this primarily because I want to have everybody be able to recognize their grandkids later in life. Right? I want everybody to have their absolute fullest potential. This is just neurobiology. Nobody's looked at all the stages. Amazon bestseller. We have the Amazon bestseller for mild traumatic brain injuries. There's 123 references we have on all the data research of the physiology and the nutrients that have been formulated.
Well, and the technology is advancing rapidly. We've seen in the last 15 years an enormous growth in the level of awareness of the problem,
Yep.
of how to deal with the problem. And yet there's still so many simple things that aren't being done, like doing proper baseline concussion testing
Yes.
for youth and high school athletes. What are the things that you think people can do in advance to prepare themselves?
Okay, so I agree with you. Baseline testing is huge. It's again, people are proactively taking this in high risk events. These are people before they go out on the ice, before they go into the soccer game, before they have contact events. But it's also, what's your diet? Are you eating inflammation? Inflammatory foods, that affects your brain in a negative way. You're as strong as your brain is strong. And again, as I said, people aren't relating I have a cardiac issue. Why do you have a cardiac issue? The TBI didn't cause it, but definitely can contribute to it.
Well, our overall health is so intercorrelated, right? With everything we do, with movement, with exercise, with diet, with sleep.
Yep.
Sleep being one of the big
Huge.
underrated areas for recovering from an injury. And so, as you look out there, who are the groups that you're trying to connect with to advance the work that you're doing?
So it is there's major areas. Primarily, who makes the decision in the home? It's the mom. The moms are making the decision in the home. The moms are buying these because they're proactively saying, as a parent, what's the most challenging thing is when you feel hopeless in the situation. Your child, you want to do the best thing. They're running around the soccer field. They're swimming. They're doing a simple event, and they hit their head. And you call up the doctor, and the doctor says, well, hey, go stay in the dark for 2 days. This gives them a solution to help this. This is not medical treatment. This is the ice pack. This is the fire extinguisher. So it gives, the mom is number one. The pro athletes are number two, because they realize if they get a head injury, they might miss games. If they miss games, then they might not make the team next year, right? And
Or somebody's taking their spot, right?
their spot.
If you sit out, somebody else gets the chance to play, you may never get that spot back.
Exactly. And it's also the older people, because we say we have a mom and dad that are aging. And you know what? They're not at 100%, but together they're able to survive. One of them gets a simple head injury, a fall in the bathroom or whatever. And now that person can't contribute. And now both of them are in a nursing home. So it's really, if you have a brain, you need to protect it. But there are definitely there are people that are more fragile. So that's why at MyConcussionDR, we created that Concussion 911. It's for everybody in that acute stage.
And I think what we're looking at, right, as we work together and explore how we can expand your work within the context of Sports Philanthropy Network and our events, we're appreciative of your support in taking the time to be here. It's a hectic day, a hectic week, so I know you've got a lot of other interviews to do. So thank you for carving time out of your schedule.
And thank you for getting the word out. Bye, Roy. Take care. Have a
Dr.
good day.
Baric, thank you. We're going to ask you after we're done here to fill out a card for our wall of philanthropy. This is Roy Kessel signing off for Sports Philanthropy Network. Please remember to live generously.